in the European Parliament said that there had been a meeting between the European Commission and the ambassador of Venezuela. I want to know whether this is the case and whether there can be exceptions for us, whether it's possible to have diplomatic relations with people who are notionally sanctioned. Is that possible? Yes, thank you. On Venezuela, I think everything was said during the course of the European Parliament discussion. I think the High Representative provided a very clear explanation of our contact, our dialogue, cooperation with our partners in Venezuela. So we clarified all the various different aspects, and I thought that was satisfactory for everybody within the European Parliament. And then when it comes on the meeting, whether there was actually a meeting between the High Representative, the head of our delegation in Venezuela, but actually, generally speaking, the fact that one person may be on a list of European sanctions, that doesn't mean we don't have contacts with that person. It doesn't prevent us from being able to talk to that person. Usually, sanctions apply to asset freeze and travel bans. So these people aren't allowed to travel. They're not able to visit European Union countries. And we also have this asset freeze. So that means their financial assets are frozen. So it's not really a question on dialogue. It doesn't affect dialogue, but I'll see whether our ambassador did, in fact, hold discussions, have a dialogue with the person you referred to.
Thème des relations extérieures.
Christian, I see you have a question for Peter.
Oui,
Well, I'm very curious. Mr. Borrell has just appeared before the EP, and he recognized the failure in trying to delay the legislative elections in Venezuela. I'd like to know what the consequences of that will be. If the election takes place on the 6th December as planned, will the European Union recognize the results of this election? Or does that mean we'll have no longer anyone or anything in Venezuela? Thank you, Christian. Well, we don't want to speculate on the future of the agenda for European Union discussions about whether we'll say yes or no, or whether the elections are organised. What's very important is to continue all of the efforts to find a solution to the crisis in Venezuela. We discussed this in depth yesterday in the Parliament. Representatives explained our position, our expectations, what we will be doing to contribute to a solution. So that is to try and make progress in the dialogue, if possible. That's something we do always, and we'll see whether there are elections on the date announced by the regime or not. And we'll follow the situation very closely.
Merci. Y a-t-il d'autres questions pour...
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for Peter on external relations?